gentlemen, boys, girls, lickers, stickers, commenters, new subscribers, old subscribers, just generally everybody who watches these videos. Welcome back. So in this video, I want to talk about my filtering tips, because I know everybody's different. I'm not going to filter all the way up to there because I just can't be bothered. I'll do it on the West Link when we get a wee bit closer to it. I'll, give you the ins and outs of it. I've been seeing a lot of people. It always seems to be around summertime. Now, just so you know, filtering is legal in the UK. It is very legal. And it always seems that people always seem. And I know the fact that I'm not even filtering to the top of this line is going to melt some people's brains. But filtering, as I said, filtering is legal in the UK, and around the summertime, it just seems to go absolutely bat. Yeah, I would never filter in traffic anything over 30 mile an hour, 35, 30, 30, 35 mile an hour, because it is just pure suicide, and I am not up for that. So I'm not. Now, it's completely fine if you want to be that guy who goes stupid mile an hour doing that because you think you're somehow more invincible than everybody else and all that there. Yes, I get it. Big wide bike. I have a big wide bike. Well, that's not that wide, but it's wide enough that I'm having to take extra precautions when filtering. I understand that there's other bikes that are slimmer, smaller, more robust, you know, and can filter a lot quicker. That, same as the vest video, it doesn't give you the flying right to bully people about filtering, and that would bring me down to tip number one: only filter if you're confident enough to filter. I am happy to sit in traffic, but also happy enough to filter when I want, when I think the conditions are right to. 9 times out of 10, I am not, how to say, I am not in a hurry to go home. I am not in a hurry to go anywhere. I would rather sit and relax doing 34 mile an hour in traffic, just puttering along. You know, that's it. And there is some days where I don't have the confidence to do it. I will admit that. I am a big person. I can admit the things, and I can happily quite say that I'm not happy with this. I'm not doing it. My tip for number two is if you find that when you start filtering, the traffic starts moving a wee bit faster than you're comfortable with, just merge in. People around you will have already started to create a space for you because they're aware of what you're doing. Anything, I think, as far as I read before, I think it was some study or something, or some legal thing, that 30 mile an hour, filtering at 30 mile an hour or less is perfectly fine, and if you have an accident, it's normally the car driver that will be deemed to be in the wrong. But anywhere over 30 mile an hour in the United Kingdom is probably classed as a grey, is more than likely going to be classed as a grey area, which then puts you up against the car driver, which then puts your movements under more scrutiny. Just so you know. Next tip would be know the width of your bike. I know maneuvering your handlebars changes the width, but sometimes if you get stuck, you're going to hit wing mirrors, and car drivers aren't going to take that very politely. I've hit a few wing mirrors in my time, but never had any negative interaction, as it was my fault, and they did admit to being parked slightly closer than what they would like them. One guy even had the automatic wing mirrors, and I was coming up. He pressed the button, and they went in. And don't assume that the car is going to know where you're going. Why? Yeah, that is the smarter option. Yeah, don't assume that the car knows where you're going. If you can signal, signal. If you can't, just make sure you have enough space. Seen a video recently on TikTok, and it was a guy, he even admitted that he was partly responsible. He filtered up in the gap that was too thin, and then proceeded to rev and beep and honk, and the girl's wheels were slightly tilted to the lane, pointing at the lane on the right side, and she pretended not to see him, and she carried on, sort of brought in the pinpoint, or squash. A lot of people says, oh, the car was in the wrong. It's like, well, the bike put himself there, so technically the bike needed to know that, needed to be able to know that that car driver knew. You know, common sense is a thing. And it is a Friday, so the rush hour traffic is going to be great. I always sort of position myself in between the two lanes. Yes, I'm in the second lane. Yes, I probably should be in the first lane. But nobody gives up. Pecking rat's ass. The reason to do that is because it gives me a view of the left and it gives me a view of the right, so I can pick what option to take. But up here there is an inlet, so I do tend to take this way, so I'm not always getting hit near misses by cars. As you see, lane change, because I can see it's pretty wide enough. And then just glide. Other cars will see you. Hopefully. And then just gently, take your time. There's no need to go fast at this point. Why are you drifting? Always look at your mirrors if they're out. I know some people filter to put their mirrors in, but you're then limiting your capacity to do it. See the lanes coming up to a halt, so you just move into the middle. There's a wee red cars poking out too far. Just nip to the left. Now there is a couple of lorries up here, so I don't tend to overtake them. Unless the clearage on the right to me is free. That's just to say the traffic's moving, so there's no need to keep going. So I'm purposely going to get myself caught here. Well, I was going to get caught anyway, so I'm going to slow down. Let the traffic stack up. See the wee sneaky buggers coming out because they see it's free. Nearly going to go out in front of them, but now if you're from Belfast, this is probably normal daily occurrence for you, so this is just me. Knew was going there, he held back. Indication and a wee wave just to say thank you. You just juggling back and forth in your lane. Don't tend to do lorries because, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff there that you can get tangled up in, and if there's something there that you get tangled up in, that is bad news. I say so myself. But what you do find is lorry drivers see you. They see you more than car drivers because obviously professional drivers, downright stupid drivers. Not lorry drivers, by the way. I'm talking about car drivers. So As you can see, I'm literally just biding my time here. I can see that it's maybe a wee bit clearer just ahead. Traffic to my left is going slow, so I'm at a comfortable speed. I'm not going to do it here. As you can see, there's cars coming up that first lane, trying to butt their way in, and that can be ropey. Plus, as you can see, that taxi's hanging a bit out. You'll get the guys that move for you. You'll get the guys that won't move for you. It is just a matter of being kind and courteous. If you can, wave. If you can't, shout. So up here again, it is an onlet for the Westlink, so I don't tend to do it. So just move in, make sure there's nobody behind me that's trying to get past. 9 times out of 10, there's always a biker or something that's trying to get up. The main thing I would say, if you're ever filtering, and you're filtering faster than the person in front of you, is don't pressure the other person. I mean, they're not pressuring you. You going or you staying? Or and I never broke 28 mile an hour. That was the highest. And because I know I'm coming up to the end here, I don't need to filter because it's just pointless at this point. I'm not late. I'm not in a hurry. And I didn't have to rev my engine or beat my horn. So what I want to see down in the comment section down below is everybody being nice and pleasant to each other and not taking the piss out of each other and all that fun stuff. But I also want to hear is your filtering tips for other people. Remember, be respectful in the comments because we all had to start out somewhere. Not everybody's perfect. Not everybody does it the right way. And as always, like, comment, and if you haven't already subscribed, we don't do much, we don't spam the videos. As always, keep it lit, and if you can't keep it lit, don't filter if you don't have to. You just go with the flow.
Incoming!